Let me tell you about a Tuesday night. It is 11:47 p.m. You are lying in bed. You have work tomorrow. Everything is fine. And then, for a reason you cannot explain, your brain starts doing math. Rent is due in 9 days. You spent more than you planned this week. There is a charge coming out on Friday that you forgot about. And instead of just opening the app and seeing the number, you lie there, doing the math in your head, getting it wrong, getting more anxious, running the worst version of the number. The app is right there. 3 seconds and you would know, but you do not open it. You know this night. Here's what nobody tells you about that night. That anxiety, the one that comes before you even see the number, costs you more than whatever's in the account. It costs you sleep. It costs you the next morning. It costs you decisions you make out of fear instead of clarity. And Marcus Aurelius, a man who controlled the finances of an empire, had a word for what is happening in that moment at 11:47 p.m. And more importantly, he had the cure. You are not alone in this. A 2024 study found that 77% of Americans report feeling anxious about their financial situation. But here's the number that stopped me. 58% of those people, more than half, avoid checking their bank accounts specifically because of the anxiety it causes. More than half. Not people who are broke, not people in financial crisis, people with jobs, with salaries, people who are, by any reasonable measure, fine. Avoiding the number because the number has become more than a number. It has become a verdict. At some point in your life, without realizing it happened, your bank balance stopped being a number. It became a reflection of your worth, your intelligence, your discipline, your choices, your entire relationship with yourself. So checking it is not just checking a number, it's submitting to a judgment. And the anxiety is not about the money, it's about what a low number says about you as a person. The Stoics had a name for this confusion. They called it conflating the external with the internal, letting the outside world define the inside one. And here's where it becomes a trap, because the anxiety makes you avoid the number, and avoiding the number makes the anxiety worse, because in the absence of the real number, your brain invents one, and the number your brain invents is always worse than the real one. Always. You lie in bed at 11:47 p.m., convinced you have $200. The app would show you $400. Not great, but not what your brain was running. The anxiety created a fiction, and you suffered through the fiction instead of facing the fact. Seneca wrote about this exact pattern in a letter that reads like it was written last Tuesday. He said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." 5 words, 2,000 years ago. He already solved your Tuesday night. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, and also one of the most anxious. He documented his anxiety in letters to his friend Lucilius, letters so honest they feel like reading someone's private journal. He wrote about the dread that arrived before bad news, the suffering that happened before anything actually happened, the way the mind runs toward catastrophe when left alone in the dark. And he identified something that changed the way I think about bank account anxiety entirely. He said, "The anxiety is never about the thing. It's always our story about the thing. The bank balance is a number. The anxiety is a story you're telling yourself about what that number means." And here is the Stoic breakthrough. The number is real, the story is not. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And then he wrote something even more specific. He said, "There are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us." The bank account that frightens you has almost certainly never crushed you, but the fear of checking it has been quietly running your financial life. Marcus Aurelius went further. He believed that the refusal to face reality, any reality, including a bank balance, was a form of moral cowardice. Not because he was harsh, because he understood something. You cannot change what you will not look at. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The bank balance you are afraid to check is the exact thing you need to check to begin fixing what is broken. The number is not the obstacle. The fear of the number is. And the Stoic fix doesn't require you to have more money. It requires you to have more honesty. Here is the Stoic diagnosis, complete. Bank account anxiety is not about money. It's about identity. You have decided, without realizing you decided, that your bank balance is a reflection of your worth. The Stoics called this a false judgment, the confusion of an external circumstance with an internal truth. Your balance tells you what you have right now. It tells you nothing about who you are. It tells you nothing about what you are capable of. It tells you nothing about where you are going. It is a number, not a verdict.
And the moment you separate those two things, the anxiety loses most of its power. The first Stoic fix is called the radical check-in. Marcus Aurelius began every single day with an honest inventory of his situation. Not a pleasant one, not an optimistic one, an honest one. He called this practice prosochi, self-attention, present moment honesty. The idea was simple. You cannot navigate from where you wish you were. You can only navigate from where you actually are. The bank account check, the one you have been avoiding, is the first act of Stoic self-attention that a financially anxious person can practice. Not to feel good about the number, not to judge yourself for the number, to simply know it. Clearly, completely, without story. The number is data, nothing more, nothing less. Here is the exact practice. Every morning, before you do anything else, before coffee, before email, before social media, open your banking app, look at the number, write it in a notebook, close the app. That is it. No analysis, no judgment, no story. Just the number, written down, acknowledged. Do this for 7 days. What you will discover, and this is the part that every person who does this reports back, is that the number is almost always less catastrophic than what your brain invented at 11:47 p.m. And after 7 days of seeing the real number, the anxiety about checking it is almost completely gone, because the brain only fears what it does not know. What you check every day, you cannot be ambushed by. Seneca explained why this works with a precision that modern psychology has only recently caught up to. He said, "Omnia aliena sunt timori obnoxia." Everything uncertain is subject to fear. The bank balance was uncertain. You checked it every morning. Now it is certain. And certainty, even uncomfortable certainty, is almost always less painful than dread. Dread is the feeling of something unknown approaching. Information is the thing that kills dread. The Stoics were not asking you to be okay with whatever number is in the account. They were asking you to see it clearly, because you cannot address what you refuse to face, and you cannot face what you have not checked.
The second fix targets the deeper problem, not the avoidance, the story. Because even if you start checking every morning, if the number still feels like a verdict on your worth, the anxiety will find another form. Marcus Aurelius practiced what he called the stripping away of appearance, looking at things as they actually are, not as the stories we build around them. He wrote, "Strip away the story and look at the thing itself." The bank balance stripped of its story is just a number, pixels on a screen, representing a quantity of currency at this specific moment. That is all it is. It is everything else you added to it that created the anxiety. Here is the second practice. Get your notebook, open it to a blank page. Write your current bank balance at the top. Just the number, nothing else. Then below it, write every story you have attached to that number. This number means I am bad with money. This number means I am behind where I should be. This number means I am not as responsible as I should be. This number means something is wrong with me. Write every single one. And then draw a line under all of them and write, "These are stories, not facts." The fact is, I have this much money today. That is all the number means. Everything else, I invented. That act of writing, of making the story visible and naming it as a story is the most powerful financial therapy Marcus Aurelius ever prescribed. Here is something the financial industry will never tell you. People who have high financial anxiety make worse financial decisions, not because they are less intelligent, because anxiety narrows focus. It makes you reactive instead of strategic. It makes you avoid instead of address. It makes you spend impulsively because spending feels like doing something when the anxiety makes you feel helpless. Lowering your financial anxiety through these Stoic practices does not just make you feel better, it literally makes you richer. Because the calm person, the person who checks every morning without drama, makes better decisions with the same money than the anxious person who avoids and reacts. Equanimity, the Stoic word for this calm, is not just a philosophical virtue, it is a financial strategy. The third practice is the one that makes the other two permanent. Epictetus taught his students that the day is not finished until it has been examined, not judged, not punished, examined. Every evening before sleep, before you put your phone on the nightstand, you ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What did I spend today, and was it intentional? 2. Did I check my balance this morning, or did I avoid it? 3. Did I make one financial decision today from clarity rather than fear? You do not need perfect answers. You do not need good answers. You need honest ones. Because Epictetus believed, and 2,000 years of philosophy have not disproved him, that the examined life is the only one that can genuinely improve. Here is the modern version. Tonight, before you put your phone on the nightstand, open your notebook. 3 lines, nothing more. What I spent today. Did I check my balance this morning? One thing I chose from clarity rather than fear. That's it. 3 minutes. Every night. What you will find within 2 weeks is that the Tuesday night anxiety, the one I described at the start of this video, simply stops coming. Not because your balance is higher, because you've already looked at it today. You already know. There's nothing for the 11:47 p.m. brain to invent. The Stoics did not cure financial anxiety by making the money less scary. They cured it by making the person less afraid of the truth. You are not anxious about money because you are bad with money. You are anxious about money because you've been taught by a world that profits from your insecurity that your worth is in your wallet. The Stoics taught the opposite. Your worth is in your character. Your balance is in your account. And those 2 things have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Seneca wrote in a letter that survived 2,000 years, "Begin at once to live and count each day as a separate life. Not each bank statement, not each balance, each day. Today, whatever your balance is the day you begin. Not when you have more, not when the anxiety is completely gone. Today, from here, with what you have. The number in the account is where you start from, not who you are." 3 things tonight. 1. Open your banking app right now. Look at the number. Write it down. Say out loud, that's data, not a verdict. 2. Write 1 page in a notebook, the number at the top, every story you have attached to it below, a line under the stories. Then, these are stories, not facts. 3. Set a daily alarm for 8 a.m. Label it, check, write, move on. That's your morning check-in. Every day for the next 7 days. The anxiety doesn't disappear overnight, but it begins to loosen the first time you face the number and survive it. Seneca survived the Roman Empire. You will survive your bank balance. Check it. If this is the video that finally made you open the app, tell me in the comments. Subscribe for more of this every week. I'll see you in the next one.